Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our MISAT Bulletin, and we shall start with our headlines. Turkey slams EU for backing Netherlands in dispute. Scotland to UK, don't block independence vote. And moving on to our details, starting with the Turkish-Dutch political standoff. Turkey has criticized the European Union for siding with the Netherlands in a diplomatic dispute over Turkish ministers' campaign plans in the country. In a statement on Tuesday, the Turkish Foreign Ministry said the EU's stance on Turkey was short-sighted and carried no value for Turkey, as well as lending credence to extremists. Moreover, the ministry argued that the European bloc had ignored the Netherlands' violation of diplomatic conventions and the law, after Dutch authorities escorted the Turkish Family Affairs Minister out of the country and denied the foreign minister permission to land. Additionally, Turkey slapped a series of political sanctions against the Netherlands on Monday, including halting political discussions between the two countries and closing Turkish airspace to Dutch diplomats. Deputy Prime Minister said the sanctions would apply until the Netherlands takes steps to redress the actions that Ankara sees as a grave insult. On the other hand, Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte repeated on Tuesday, on the last day of campaigning for Dutch elections, that authorities are working to de-escalate tensions with Ankara. In relation to the context, German Chancellor Angela Merkel backed the Netherlands in its diplomatic fight with Turkey. Merkel pledged her full support and solidarity with the Dutch and said the Nazi gibes were unacceptable. Moreover, the German Foreign Ministry amended its travel advice for Turkey, noting that elevated political tensions and protests that could also be directed against Germany should be expected during the referendum campaign. It recommended that travelers stay away from political events and large gatherings of people. On the other hand, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan responded angrily to Merkel's support for the Netherlands, exclaiming, "Shame on you," during a television interview on Monday. On to the Mideast crisis, Israeli police have raided the East Jerusalem office of a prominent Palestinian cartographer, accusing him of working illegally on behalf of the Palestinian Authority. Khalil Tufaji said that police had entered his office and were confiscating computers and files before the line went dead. On the other hand, police accused Tufaji of conducting research for the Palestinian Authority, including gathering information on Israeli development of East Jerusalem. His office is to remain closed for 6 months. Noteworthy that Tufaji is a former peace negotiator and keeps an extensive collection of maps and satellite photos of Israeli settlement activity. And going to Africa, the death toll has risen to 72 after Saturday's collapse of a mountain of garbage in landfill outside Ethiopia's capital. Many victims were women and children, as makeshift homes inside the Kushi landfill were buried in debris. But it is not clear how the collapse occurred. However, officials said they have already relocated hundreds of people from the landfill. From another perspective, Ethiopia has declared 3 days of national mourning that will be observed as of tomorrow. On the other side of the world, Scotland's leader is warning British Prime Minister Theresa May not to block a referendum on Scottish independence. First Minister Nicola Sturgeon said she intends to ask voters in late 2018 or early 2019 whether they want to leave the United Kingdom. This comes after Britain decided in a 2016 referendum to leave the European Union, but Scots voted strongly to remain. The British government must agree to a legally binding referendum. However, May has condemned the referendum call, accusing Sturgeon of sowing uncertainty and division. Meanwhile, Sturgeon tweeted on Tuesday that she was elected on a clear manifesto commitment to hold a referendum. Going to the war against terrorism, authorities in northern Germany have banned an organization that they say was a hotspot for Islamic extremists and searched a mosque that the group runs. The State Interior Ministry in Lower Saxony on Tuesday announced a ban on the German-speaking Islam group Hildesheim known by its German acronym DIC. The group, based in the city of Hildesheim, was long known as a center for ultra-conservative Muslims known as Salafists, and the mosque had been raided last year. News agency DPA quoted Interior Minister Boris Pistorius as saying, "With the ban on the group, a hotspot of the radical Salafist scene in Germany has been dismantled." On the other side of the world, a powerful nor'easter pounded the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast early Tuesday, prompting flight cancellations, school closures, and warnings from city and state officials to stay off the roads. The National Weather Service issued blizzard warnings for parts of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine, and Vermont. The storm was expected to dump 12 to 18 inches of snow on the New York City metro area, with wind gusts of up to 55 miles per hour. Moreover, the Weather Service's office near Philadelphia called the storm life-threatening and warned people to shelter in place, while coastal flood warnings were in effect from Massachusetts to Delaware. And finally, our economic news. Global stock markets drifted in slow trading on Tuesday as investors awaited the outcome of the Federal Reserve's meeting. Britain's FTSE 100 added 0.1% to 7,373.68, while France CAC 40 fell 0.3% to 4,984.99. Germany's DAX lost 0.1% to 11,973.58. Futures augured a tepid start on Wall Street, as though futures fell 0.1%, while S&P futures shed 0.2%. Moreover, Japan's Nikkei 225 fell 0.1% to 19,609.50, but the Shanghai Composite Index added 0.1% to 3,239.33. It's worth mentioning that the Fed is scheduled to hold a policy meeting from Tuesday to Wednesday. And before ending our news, let's take another look at the most important headlines for today. Turkey slams EU for backing Netherlands in dispute. Scotland to UK, don't block independence vote. And we reach the end of our News Bulletin for today. Thank you for joining us, and see you tomorrow in a new bulletin.